Good evening, Mallory.
Good morning, Sam.
You got the giggles? What's going on here?
I'm just smiling. I think this outfit has me feeling very Coachella. Like I'm very like I'm pretty sure I wore this to Fuji Rock, like this red flower thing or whatever. I'm feeling very fun, very floral. It's summertime. I'm ready to have some fun.
It's time to go to the weird internet space rave with whales
Yeah,
and
definitely.
troublesome plots.
Yeah. But before we get into our discussion of Belle, we got to do what we always do, which is talk about what we've been watching, what we've been reading, what we've been listening to over the past course of the week. Sam, did you want to start us off?
Sure. It's not been a ton of time since we last met to record for scheduling reasons, but I have been enjoying. I recently came into the possession of a PS5, and so I have been playing. I'm continuing my journey into old games, and I'm playing the Blue Point remake of Demon's Souls, which is largely considered
Ooh.
the worst From Software game. I know I talked a
Okay,
few weeks ago about playing the worst From Software game, Dark Souls 2, but this might actually be the worst one.
Demon
But the
Souls
remake is
is
pretty.
made by the same people
Yes.
who made Dark Souls. Okay, I
Yes. Very
Demon
confusing.
Souls Demon Souls is the problem because in that episode where I list like 7 different games that I think are from made by the same people as Dark Souls, I'm listing those all because Demon Souls was made by them, and because I'm just like they're just making anything. I guess it's all the same
So
people.
it all started with Demon's Souls in like 2009 ish, and it was supposed to be published by Sony and PlayStation. And they said this game sucks and it's too hard. Like that's literally the quote from. It's one of the big PlayStation like heads of like development at the time. I cannot remember which one, but it's one of the famous ones. And basically, he was like, "This game sucks. It is like horrible. We're not publishing this in America." But then eventually, the company Atlas published it, and then it got like a weird cult following. And GameStop. The did I say GameStop twice? GameSpot, the
There you go.
publisher or the publication, the website, whatever, gave it their Game of the Year, which was like I don't know. I don't know how to describe. It was awarding like the indie rock album, like album of the year. It was just very.
Ooh,
It was a bold choice for
yeah.
what is maybe their worst game, but it has the bones of a good From Software game in it, and so it's interesting to be going back and playing it now. It's also really easy by comparison. Like once you get to Elden Ring, like 20 years or 15 years of like the games becoming like increasingly frenetic and impossibly hard and like requiring so much of you in terms of like reaction times, going back to these older games, it's like, wow, this is kind of slow and easy. Like, oh, he's gonna do the
Mm.
wind up and then he's gonna hit me. I guess I dodged, as opposed to like, oh well, I gotta dodge the meteors that are falling down, and then also like the samurai swords coming at me in like 15 different directions. Like they get a little not easy as it goes on. But
That's very
Demon Souls, it's easy,
interesting.
it's old.
It's very interesting how because I feel like certain games are like your Animal Crossings or Pokemons that aren't like intended to be super difficult. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna come out year to year and like they might add like more stuff, but it's almost like it's reminding me of like experimental music or like horror movies or something where it's like there's this required like heightening, like you have to like
Mm-hmm.
keep in like exceeding like what the previous game was offering in a certain area in order to like uh satisfy expectations or whatever. So it's very interesting of like this they're just backing into this corner of having to be more and more and more and more difficult, I guess. Which I'm sure it
It's
sounds
an
like there's
escalation for
creativity and
sure.
variety. Yeah.
I think I see the same story every time a like From Software game comes out, and I've been plugged in since around like Dark Souls 3 era. It's always the same story, which is like, has From Software gone too far this time? Is it actually too hard? Is this boss like bullshit? And the answer is usually no. Right now, I feel that way about their like most recent boss at the end of the big expansion to Elden Ring, which is called Shadow of the Erd Tree. Like that boss is bullshit. But then like people say that about the final boss of the Bloodborne DLC or Dark Souls 3 or the original Elden Ring had like a really crazy challenge boss that like got famous and memed, Melania. And it's like every time it's like, yeah, that was really hard, but then you just kind of like you download the information into your brain and you just like you can go and do it like root memory and it's like not that difficult anymore. But when you're in the middle of the life cycle, it's like this is impossible. Like this is horrible.
It's kind of fun to hear about just like this genre of difficult, challenging. It's like people needing it to get that rush or whatever. Like it reminds me of like people talking about like roller coasters or horror films where I'm just like I have no interest in being scared or like just feeling sick and sad because that's what roller coasters make me feel. I don't understand the appeal, but it's fun to hear people getting like so into like the granular of like creating that kind of experience, you know.
See, it's I had this problem a couple of weeks ago, and also with Demon's Souls because I had a friend like watching me play it. I'm so beyond caring about the like narrative of like From Software games are difficult and get good and prepare to die and blah 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 blah. Like who gives a shit about any of that? They're really fun to play. Like
Yeah.
there's a sense that like the AI that you're fighting is like a little smarter than you and also a little dumber than you, and so the feeling of like exploiting their vulnerabilities and like tricking it feels less like you're fighting an enemy in a video game and more like you're tricking someone in like a chess match. And so it's a feeling I have not gotten from most video games in terms of like challenge or whatever. It's like I am trying to outthink this digital monstrosity, and if I succeed at that, then I will, you know, win the level or whatever. But the aspect of them being hard does not typically like even come into my brain anymore. It's like, oh, this is just the From Software way of doing things.
Yeah, definitely. That's cool. Now it's my turn to talk about something I like.
I don't know if it's that cool. Mallory, what have you been up to?
I mean, because I'm realizing I also didn't talk about what I've been getting into last time either, but that's because we had a cool
Are you
Lego
also
tangent.
collecting rare Lego set? Yeah.
We should get into the Lego stuff as well though, because that is very interesting. But yeah, my week, mostly I've been getting back into a rewatch of Fantasy High, which is Dimension 20's like first series that they released, D&D actual play show. I've been rewatching. There was a point like a year ago, and I remember it because it was summer when like they released like the third season of that show, which is the first time they've done like a third season. Because like typically every time they do a new season, it's like they're doing a new world, new characters, new everything. But like this was like they've done a couple second seasons, but never a season 3. So they did season 3. Was really, really into it. It was like all I was watching. I was like, it would come out like around like 8 a.m. in the morning, and I would be like, okay, I can watch the first 20 minutes before I have to go to work, and then I would be watching it, like listening to it during my break or whatever, and not socializing with anyone because I'm like really cool. But yeah, I don't know. I was really
You're
into
hanging out with your digital friends who don't know you.
Yeah, I'm like, sorry, my parasocial friends need me. Could you stop trying to pick up conversation with me, coworker?
You know the picture of like the toddler like hanging out and reacting to like it's like a big cardboard box for some like kid's toy, and there's a bunch of like happy, similarly aged toddlers, and the toddler's like, oh, it's my friend. People have like put that. This is an old ass meme of like that, and it's like this is how it feels to listen to a podcast.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's the vibe. But yeah, I was super crazy into it, but like, and then I think as is common for me with my like interests, like I eat too much candy and then I get full and sick and I don't want it anymore. Like I was too into it. I rewatched everything over and over again. I would each episode that would come out, I would like watch twice at least during the week in preparation for the next one. I kept rewatching the season from the beginning. And then by the end of it, I was like, all right, I've had enough. But then it's been long enough. I got back into it. Interesting thing about it is that they've also been releasing like a webtoon about it. So I've downloaded the Webtoons app for the first time. Are you familiar with this app?
I am familiar with Webtoon. You're
Yeah.
reading some off-brand, I guess not off-brand in this case, official web comics of this D&D series.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like they have said like because I feel like with D&D shows like there's always a lot of fan demand and like desire for like seeing it some sort of animated show produced about it, which
Right,
like
and there's been a few of those at this
obviously
point.
yeah, like I know that Critical Role did one, which is honestly pretty interesting to me. Honestly, like I could see wanting to watch that on the show and be like, what's going on with this? I don't know how long it is, but
I would say it's made for you, so I'm surprised you haven't seen it.
I haven't listened to Critical Role, or I've listened to a few,
Right, I
but it
know
was
you're
like
more
harder to
Dimension
get
20,
into.
but
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Um, but yeah, like it's interesting because this seems like the closest that we're probably gonna get, at least like in the foreseeable future, as like a media adaptation of a D&D thing, and it's like as a fan of the series, I think it's really cool because you're seeing everything all in color and like being able to visualize all these like fun scenes or whatever. But it's
Mm-hmm.
also interesting in that like obviously you have to like lose so much from like the actual experience of like the show and like alter so much in order to make it like a readable legible story, and I think they do a really good job of it and like trying to weave in different jokes, but then like reading it and then rewatching the series, I'm like, wow, this is such a different experience. Like, does the story really hold up outside of like D&D? You know what I mean? It's very
Right, like
interesting.
is it the banter that is in fact the juice? Like it is the part that you enjoy, or like the
I
feeling
mean,
of
it's
improv?
they definitely do a lot of cool character arcs, character work, all that kind of stuff. The story and like the mystery and everything is definitely like very interesting. But yeah, like the certain elements, I think more it's like sometimes when they try to incorporate some of the banter, it's like, oh, this is like, I know this is funny because it's a callback, but it's not necessarily like I've I don't know. I thought about just pitching the comic to be like, does this mean anything to you? Are you finding this funny at all without any? You know what I mean? Like for
Right,
some of the
like
jokes.
imagining someone reading it and not having listened to the D&D show.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I'm pretty hesitant on pitching to you because the thing about it is it's gonna spoil story and plot and twists and stuff like that, and it's like, the
But
actual
also, how are you going to
series
pitch me a
could be a
12-hour
pitch.
a 12-hour D&D show season?
It
Or
could.
probably
It
closer, like
always
what are we
could be.
talking, like 30 hours? Like probably
Um,
gets up there.
Yeah, because I think episodes would be like an hour to an hour and a half. Like they're close to like a podcast thing usually. And then I think
Hmm.
the season is like at least 12 episodes. So it's like, yeah, definitely not something we could do on like a regular week. But
Hmm.
yeah, I'm kind of debating over it. But yeah, it's very interesting. I feel like I'm the whole like, should this book be made into a movie adaptation like
Right.
conversation that I feel like everyone was like super passionate about back in like middle school. I feel like I'm having that like all over again. It's like
Should
how
my
should
favorite
actual
YouTuber
plays
become
be
Go
adapted?
Hollywood? Yeah.
should Fred get to make a movie? um, but yeah, no, it's like because it's like I obviously have that to compare to like people will obviously make like animatics the way that people do with like podcasts and
Hmm.
stuff like that, and that I feel like has a lot more of the sauce because it's like you're having the actual audio snippet or whatever, but at the same time it's not a cohesive story. So yeah, I don't know. It's
You
interesting.
mentioned animatics, and let
Mm,
me tell you, you have
mm,
once again ruined my YouTube algorithm because I'm getting so much Deltarune stuff from that. And half the time I'm like, oh, this is clearly like fan stuff, and I'm not like not into that, but I'm more looking
mm.
into like things I missed from my shotgun playthrough of those first two chapters.
Right.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really confusing because so much of it is like mods and edits of scenes, and I'm like, is that an alternate scene that I missed, or is that I feel old is what I'm getting at. Like
Mm.
the Deltarune community has had so much time to make so much like fake extra content. Not fake, but you know what I mean. Fan extra content.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
And now I have no concept of like what this game actually has in it or not.
That's such an interesting point because I think the thing is like a lot of the fan content took a while. So when Chapter 2 released, it was very clear what was actually in the game and what wasn't. And then over
It's
time,
no longer as
like,
clear.
we all every time like people who were playing it when it came out knew what everything was. So like when a new thing came out, we knew it was fan content without having to like discern. So I'm like, that is actually a good point that it would be hard to discern like if you're just getting all of that information treated as equal on your like
it
YouTube
feels a little bit
algorithm.
like being introduced to the Bible through like Evangelion. Like it's like it's like yeah, the Christian stuff's cool, but like or like yeah, the robots are cool, but what's this Jesus thing? Like I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
a little strange.
It's like I'm trying to. I feel like there's definitely a movie that I have knowledge of only through references, but like I'm imagining like Star Wars, like people's imagination of Star Wars when all they've ever seen is like Star Wars parodies. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, Star Wars through the Family Guy Star Wars episode. It's like
exactly.
Or the Fairly Odd
like,
Parents like parody.
Yeah, or like the like I Am Your Father, like I could imagine someone like thinking like, oh, that's just a funny thing that people say or whatever. It's just like a weird meme and like not knowing it had to do with Star Wars because it's just so widespread, you know?
Could you imagine having never seen Shrek and like watching Shrek now and it's like every single screenshot from this movie, every line, every music bit is like well known and disseminated through the internet and then also like old news at this point?
I clicked on I clicked on a random like I get a lot of motivational mental healthy type stuff in my YouTube that's like
Sure.
it's like, stop blaming yourself or like let your anger out or like let it go or like all these different things. So I'm watching this like random like college student. Like here's the thing, whenever I get to the like midway through the video and they mention like, oh yeah, I'm going to my college class because I'm like 22, I'm like, I gotta get off this video. This person doesn't know what they're talking about at all, first of all. So first of all, like they did say that, but also in the middle of this video, like they started just dropping like random like Shrek references, and I'm like, it's so widespread because everyone in our generation saw Shrek. And that is such a good point because imagine being a kid now. Shrek is not in theaters. Shrek is not coming out. Like, who is showing you Shrek at this point? We got Paw Patrol. We got like we don't need Shrek anymore for like kids. Like,
hey now,
are kids watching
Puss
Shrek?
in Boots: The Last Wish. It will be on this podcast at some point.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I haven't not seen that, but obviously that came out more recent. But that feels like an art film. Do kids watch that?
I don't know. I think it's like the least successful of all their movies, but it's really good.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have Donkey in it, I'm sure. But, I mean...
Mallory, life is passing us by so quickly. Michael Bay's making a Skibidi Toilet movie. Like, there's no telling.
Amazing. Did you want to talk about Lego, by the way? Sorry, I realized we're...
Oh, no, I don't have much of an update. I have started my Bricklink account. I have purchased a Bricklink... or I've purchased like a Lego from somebody to like verify my account, so I'm in that process still. Can't wait to eventually sell my childhood and actually have money again because I'm broke. I did get the set that I ordered. It is behind me. I don't know if you can see it, but it's back there, hanging out, the little ship. It's there.
Is it
It's over
by
my
the
shoulder.
boat? Is it between the globe and the boat? Or no? Oh!
No,
I
on the
see.
bottom. No,
Yeah,
I'm just
okay.
leaning over just to like have fun. Like that wasn't trying to show you something.
I couldn't make heads or tails of what was going on. But yeah, I'll in the edit I will zoom in on that so everyone else will just think
excellent.
I'm stupid and it'll be very obvious.
I'm
I'll do
I'm
the big
still
red
negative.
circle.
Yeah, perfect. Just like you need for like a Star Wars anything. I
Yeah.
So I'm still negative $100 into this process, but we'll see where things go from here.
We need a weekly like budget. We need like the like dollar amount just like in the corner of the screen of like how in the hole you are. So then like when you climb out of it, like everyone will be like, whoa, blown away.
Well, I'm not. It's not like I did start this by saying I bought more Lego. It's not like I'm buying stuff to resell. I did buy 2 of those sets now because just as an experiment, and now one of them's locked away in a closet for 5 years, and we'll see what happens. But it's a long experiment. It's a long tail. But I'm just trying to sell these minifigs that I don't need and that are taking up space, and that could make me a lot of money in my rare misprint.
Yeah.
But they're still there, actually. They're on the shelf behind me, so I've still got them, my treasures. But
we got fantastic Mr. Fox with his misprint on his
fantastic
on his
Mr. Commander Fox with his gray circle that's not filled in. My beloved, my precious.
It's amazing.
But to be determined on whether or not this actually works.
We're getting long in the tooth with this intro, Sam. We better start our discussion or we're going to be in a lot of trouble.
I could feel it. I could feel it from the first word. Mallory, this is the least I've ever put thought into a pitch. I'm going to be honest with you. You brought up Beauty and the Beast randomly last episode, and I was like, we haven't done Belle yet. We could do Belle.
That's interesting. I've been thinking about Beauty and the Beast more, just from like a few, just cultural osmosis. I've not seen the movie since I was like probably 3 and didn't understand what was happening. And I feel like I only came into a general understanding of the plot in like the last like couple of years, honestly.
I think the movie's fine. It's the animation is like really like the seller these days in terms of like film history or what have you. Like using a 3D camera in a mostly 2D or 3D mixed with 2D like environment. Like I think Beauty and the Beast is considered one of the pioneering films to do that and one of the most impressive. And you can look at that like ballroom dance scene and be like, wow, I hope someone makes a weird techno anime version of this in 2022 or 2021, and then we have Belle.
Our prayers have been answered. Yeah, no, but
I hope someone remakes their own movie to remake my movie.
It was interesting having that context, I guess, this time when I was watching it, like just actively thinking about what is the difference between Beauty and the Beast in this movie and stuff like, or like what are the parallels, I guess. But yeah. I don't know. I'm as spur as a moment of it, as spur of the moment as it may have been. I feel like it was a pretty interesting pitch. Like it's a pretty interesting discussion because Mamoru Hosoda is your favorite director. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if that's still true.
He is definitely, if he's not my favorite, he is like definitely in the top 3. I have said many times he's my favorite. Probably the only director I've seen all of his movies, or one of the only directors, and they're definitely my happy place. I would say none of them are perfect, but some of them I very, very much love. I've got a book on him behind me, and I've got a bunch of his movies behind me as well. Like, I like the guy. I like his movies.
Yeah.
There was a moment where I was rewatching Belle last night, and I said, man, I hate this movie. But then it really comes together towards the back half. I got a lot of problems, but yeah, we're talking about Belle. I pitched Belle to you. I want to hear what you think about it, other than that it's interesting.
I think an interesting thing to me is like, have I seen all of his, what's his most recent movie that he made?
Belle.
Is it really?
It is. So there's Belle.
Okay.
Before that was Mirai, which you and I saw in theaters together, which is my least favorite of his movies. Boy and the Beast, which I think we also saw together. And then Wolf Children, Summer Wars, which is my personal favorite. Girl Who Leapt Through Time, which I showed you. Yeah. Not in theaters, though. We're not that old. And then beyond that, it's like the Digimon movie, which is fine. And he did a One Piece movie, like a random one-off One Piece movie.
Okay.
which I
So
watched when
those
I
would
made
be
a
the
video
only.
on him a few years ago.
Yeah. Those would be the only ones I haven't watched, but yeah, you've shown me all the films that I need to catch up on. And if you saw Girl Who Lived Through Time in theaters, you're old and you should be sad about that. But I
I don't
think
even know if
that
it came to theaters internationally.
if
It
you
barely
found a
came to
way,
theaters in Japan. I was reading about it. It was like it went to like 19 theaters originally, and then like grew from word of
wow.
mouth.
If you were one of the 19 people who saw Belle in theater or Girl Who Lived Through Time in theaters in Japan, I mean, pretty cool, but pretty aged, pretty pretty bygone
Old.
of you. Just be really
What's going
mean
on, Unc?
to
Yeah.
just be so mean. Anyway,
I'm glad they
but
let you
I
out of your
think
retirement home to go watch this cool anime movie.
this is super specific just to like
To hardcore
we're all old
Mamoru
and that's
Hosoda
beautiful.
fans, which I'm not, obviously.
Mm. But yeah, it's interesting to me. I think other than Mirai is probably my least favorite. I do think this is probably my least favorite of his movies on rewatch, but it's also interesting to me because I know when it came out, like being excited just like at the premise of like, oh, like this like cool director that has like made a bunch of really cool movies is like making this movie about like an internet pop star, and like
Mhm.
immediately I'm like right up my alley, right? So I'm like, oh, is this gonna be my Mamoru Hosoda movie that I love absolutely?
Right. This one's made for
But
me. This is my whole.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that's kind of what I was curious about. Having watched it, I feel like it's not quite that. I think not having as much expectations this time let me like enjoy stuff a little bit better. But yeah, I feel like the premise of being an internet pop star was not necessarily utilized or leaned into a whole lot. Like it's used in the sense of like talking about attention and fame and rumors and stuff like that, but it's also kind of like not like I don't know. I kind of consistently had the feeling of like I felt like they could just be playing like an RPG game, and it's like more she exists more in the story as like a princess or like a who like worked her way up to having this like power, I guess, more so than like a celebrity. I don't know. I'm imagining like the movie that this could be if they got really into like pop star related stuff. I don't know. I mean, I
It
have more thoughts on
definitely.
that, but
It
yeah.
has the problem where it's like trying to do a lot of things at once, right? Like it's trying to be this weird
Yes.
Beauty and the Beast retelling. It's trying to be this story about trauma and family and whatnot, and it's also trying to be this pop star, like rags to riches, but not really riches story. Uh, Honestly, that part of it bothered me less in
Mm,
2025 than it did in 2021. Like, I think there's just been so many more examples of people rising to like extreme fame rapidly in a way that
mm,
like now that like sound bites are almost more popular than music. I remember watching this in 2021 in like a early days of TikTok or kind of like era, and being like, how is Belle famous? She only has one song that she sang on like a weird internet alley, and people happen to like notice. And I know her friend is like trying to like push her algorithmically, but that's also really yada yada. But these
mm,
days, it's like, well, soundbite snippets, can rocket people into like a crazy amount of fame in a way that I feel like they couldn't have when this movie was coming out. And so that part to me doesn't bother me as much anymore. I more
mm,
have a problem with the story kind of not using that in as interesting ways as it could, of like, what does it mean to be famous on the internet? What does it mean to be a different person? Like it touches on all these ideas, but it doesn't really come together in an interesting way.
mm.
Uh, I have a lot. It's muddled. The movie, I think.
Yeah. I my I think like that's my critique is like the exact same in terms of the pop star. It's just like it's kind of underutilized to the point of being feeling like it could be interchangeable with like a lot of other stuff, you know? Like I don't know, I think that like it's interesting, and I think stuff gets highlighted a lot with the Beast. Like, one question I kept asking myself, like, throughout the movie, and I kept having to check back, is like, why do people care about the Beast? What is the, like, what what is the deal
I
with him?
don't know.
Like,
He rose through
I
the
guess he
ranks
causes
of the
trouble.
martial arts clubs on the U.
Hmm.
What does that mean? I don't know.
We never see him
He's
fight
being
anyone.
Yeah, he's being hunted by this weird like Reddit moderator, but like why is that guy famous? Why does he have a bunch of sponsors? What does it mean to be sponsored on the U? What does it mean that his sponsors go
Mm,
away? Why does he have this weird admin privilege where he can like defame people or like show off their true selves or whatever? A lot of
yeah.
questions.
Is
Why
yeah.
is why is Suzu obsessed with the beast? Like, yeah.
Like, to where I was kind of like, I felt like a really basic rewrite of this film would just be like, make him a pop star, or a
Mhm.
musician as well. Have them be in like a kind of community, have them like bond over music, you know what I mean?
Have them have
Which
some
would
kind of connection,
definitely,
right? If they're
yeah,
rivals or like something.
yeah, like, and I think then, like, she might start to see like some of the ways that he's like injured and wounded, but like she only starts to see that like upon getting closer. Like, there's this thing, like, he has
Mhm.
these like bruises on his back, and that's like the thing that like draws her in to be like, oh, he's hurting, he's in pain, like, let me see what I can do about it. Like, have that be something that like he shows her as, or is revealed to her like against his will, because he doesn't want to let her in, like, as
Right.
she gets closer to him through like whatever it is that they're doing, like, be it being pop stars, be it like being in some sort of role-playing game, which is what it kind of feels like sometimes, like. And then,
Mhm.
I don't know, it feels like that would resolve a lot of things, because like the other thing I was really questioning was like, why does he go on the internet at all? Because like, there's definitely something there. Like, if you're a kid that's being abused and you go on the internet, it's to like, you're escaping the abuse and getting to reinvent yourself and be a person in the new world. And like,
Right.
I
And
don't
that makes
know.
sense to me for his brother, right? Like his brother is like this weird artist. Like he's using these little AI to make like these images of their passed away mother and make this castle and design
Mm,
these weird digital roses and whatnot. Like the brother
mm,
seems to be getting an escape into this made up Second Life style like computer program in a way that like holds water plot wise. But then he's just
mm.
like I guess there to support him, but he's also picking fights with people because he's angry and he's abused and da 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 da. It's a lot of like you gotta fill in the answers for yourself in a way that like it asks you to do that maybe too much.
Yeah, because like, no one, unlike the like real world, no one is targeting his younger brother online. Like, people don't notice
Mm-hmm.
him really, it seems like. So he's not really doing to protect. Uh, the idea of him going online and being kind of a like asshole and like lashing out makes sense, but it's like the ways don't really make sense. Like, I could see him being like popular for like fighting games and being a celebrity or whatever, but then like
Right. It makes
having
sense
these
like
negative traits.
allegorically, but not in the
Yeah,
mechanics of the actual movie and like what we know about
right.
you, right?
Hmm.
I think Summer Wars, which is a very, very similar setting and plot, does it a lot better by just not giving as much detail about the Summer Wars digital world Oz. Like it's just like it's there. Don't worry about it. It's more to do with the characters. Whereas this one is because using you is so important to these characters and it's so important to like their growth or what have you, or their escape, or maybe it's like holding them back. You just start asking a lot of weird questions about it and about how it works, and
Mm,
it's messy. I have a
yeah,
pitch
and
for
that.
you.
Mm, yeah.
I think this is one of his worst movies. However, I did see it in theaters 3 times. I do own it on Blu-ray behind me. I I think it might have his best sequence of any of his movies. Like in an individual scene. And I can guess that you can guess which one I'm talking about.
I have two favorites.
Okay.
So
I want to hear yours first. I want to make you guess.
I want to get what you think is the best one, but okay. I mean, the one that immediately pops to mind is Taskeru, Taskeru, Taskeru. When he's getting really mad about like don't come and help me or whatever. Like everyone, it's all cheap talk or whatever, and he's getting mad on the thing. He's like hangs up. Maybe not for my reaction.
Do you have a second guess?
My other one, the one that I probably like a lot more, is the kayak guy and the girl and the band girl when she like confesses her feelings, and then he's like, "Whoa!" and he like runs out, and it's just like a single still shot, and she the entire time is just like unmoving and like red faced with her like hands in her face or face in her hands, and he's just like
and all the
running
conversations
in and out,
happening
most of the
off
dialogue.
screen, right?
Yeah. Most of the dialogue happens
I
off
think
screen. Like, yeah, that one's fire.
I love
like
that scene. Both are not my answer.
Mm.
I think to call this movie a musical is like a lie. This movie has like 3 musical scenes, like total, maybe 4. But I will say the Million Miles Away like performance at the end of the movie, or like at the almost the last scene before she has her little adventure to go find them in the real world. Conceptually, like it ties the movie together in a way the movie doesn't deserve, because I think the concept is really strong, right? Where like Suzu, it's one of the only times this movie's always over explaining things, and like characters go like, you're trying to help them because they remind you of you. I'm trying to help them because they remind me of me. Like there's so much of that, and it's like, shut up.
What does that mean?
One of the only pseudo subtle things the movie does is, what is Suzu doing when she like unveils herself so that he will believe that she is who she says she is, and then they go help him. Like, what is she doing? She's essentially committing like internet death to save a stranger, right? Which is what her mother did in the real world to save the girl on the bank of the river, right? Like, and she doesn't even realize the connection until she's mid-performance, and she's like, there's a moment where she's like looking out at the weird space moon, or internet cyber moon, and like you get a quick cut to her mother, and it's like you can see the realization in this character's eyes, like, oh, I get it. My mother wasn't abandoning me for a stranger because she doesn't love me. She was doing like a selfless, loving act, right? And then she's doing a very similar act in that moment without even realizing it. That is 10 out of 10, like, I think a brilliant, brilliant moment in a very flawed movie. And sorry to, as we always do, jump right to the end, but like to me that like works so much better than the rest of the movie like deserves.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it hits emotionally, and like this movie will bring tears to my eyes in like several of the scenes. Like I kind of made fun of the Taskeru, but like it got me, and that one got me too. And like I think that the themes of this movie, like, like there is like just this one central theme, right, of like helping people and like the sacrificing and the costs that the pain that it causes to help someone else, but then like also the like and the flip side of that is like really centered of like how you're unwilling to like let other people help you, and like scaring them away, like that kind of thing becomes the through line. And like I think that does track solidly through the film and like makes a lot of sense. And I feel like a lot of stuff that we're going to end up being more critical about and have already been criticizing is like feels extraneous to that theme and doesn't like meld well with it in like really many ways, and like it just feels superfluous to that like central idea. But yeah, like it does make a lot of sense. Like I think that it's I think one positive I can definitely say about the movie, like it feels like it probably, I haven't seen Emma Watson's Beauty and the Beast, so
Sure.
maybe I'm just.
I would
Maybe I'm
say
just.
I haven't either, but let's just go on a limb and say that this movie has more artistic merit than that movie. I'm just gonna go on a limb. All right.
I mean,
Can we do
it's
that?
original.
Can we have a real conversation here?
And it's original. It probably has more uniqueness, and I think that like it does like more subverting, and like it feels like pretty solidly like feminist, I guess, in that way of like I like that Belle, like beyond like the lack of any like confirmed explicit like romantic ending or whatever, that not being the thing that like ties things up or whatever.
I
Like,
also think it's a
think
strong
that,
choice, but yeah.
yeah, like I think that her like internal conflict basically being about like it feels like it's like she doesn't want to be a victim, because if she lets other people in to help her, she's the crying kid on the other side of the stream, and the person coming to help her is her mom, that who's gonna like lose her life trying to save her. Like the reality of like a life for a life, like it's very rare that we're in like a saw trap where we choose like,
Right.
okay, I die so you live. Like that is usually not how the like exchange of like helping someone works. But so, like it does come at personal cost usually, like to some extent. Sometimes it's negligible, sometimes it's like much bigger, but like she like has this trauma related to that and does not want to receive help, and like people are constantly like reaching out and trying to help her throughout the thing, and she can't like move forward. And like she has like this romantic interest in this boy, but like their relationship cannot move anywhere because she can't open up to him, because that would mean like being a victim in some way, I guess. And
Right. She can't open up to like her high school crush, and there's also Ruka, and there's also her dad, I think.
Yes.
It a few changes, and I feel like this movie would hit so much harder. Like I think you need
Yeah.
like a little bit more with the dad, because I like how he's tied throughout the movie of like these quiet rejections and these quiet like unable to talk to each other because she's like can't get over this tragedy, and like so she can't like open up and start to heal, right? Like there's ideas there that are really strong. I think she is a strong character and it's a strong setup, but the execution leaves me wanting more.
Yeah, it I think that's what is like frustrating about watching it, is because it's like you had all this stuff here, and just like you went to all this effort to make this like beautifully animated film with like a original soundtrack, and it's like just a few more passes in the writing room and like we would really be like
almost
with
there,
something, you know? Yeah, like it's,
and even
it's,
what is there is enough to be like it does make you emotional, but is it emotionally manipulating? Is it just like the individual scene directing is good, or is it like a good movie? I still don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, like there, it's interesting, but like the dad is also an interesting point, because like one thing I got like was thinking at the end was like the dad and the like her high school crush are kind of interchangeable in a lot of ways. Like they're basically doing the exact same thing, and like I don't know, like I feel like there's maybe some like lost opportunity for a little bit more commentary of like showing different, like they're different in their methods, and that like the dad is like gives up pretty quickly versus the high school crush guy is honestly probably my favorite character, because it's really funny to me that he's like, Belle, are you okay? Are you okay or are you not okay?
He's ridiculous.
Which one?
Oh, I
Which
hate
one
him.
is it? Which one? Which one? That's really funny to me. Belle.
Meanwhile, the dad's like, "You want dinner? No? Okay, well, you should probably eat something."
Yeah.
There's little details about the dad that I like. Like, I like him leaving her, like, he keeps leaving her snacks, basically, and he's like, to me, it's the impression is, like, trying to be a good dad and, like, give her space, but it's not working.
Yeah, definitely. But, like, forcing it probably would also not help. And, like, that's what I was, like, feeling is, like, what makes it, like, a nice, like, I don't know, like, refreshing, like, pretty... it feels feminist to me, just in that sense of like it's she saves herself in the end, and like she realizes like, you know, letting people in, which like I feel like I hate how a lot of movies will frame like you'll have a strong competent female character but she like doesn't let people in, which is a thing. Like sometimes being very strong and competent like means that you can't be vulnerable with people, but it's like
It gets a little tropey though, right? Like the like
yeah,
icy badass or like girl boss or what have you.
and then she like her character arc and resolution like means she needs to like fall back in line with femininity and like conform again.
Right.
Like where like this like does it in a way where she's still very much in control like all the way to the end, and like she does the thing, she goes and like saves the day question mark but saves the day.
Yeah, that
I guess,
also
like,
is very weird, but
if you're buying into the emotional logic of the film, she saves the day
right.
like by herself, does the right thing, and you can see like going forward like she can like it's like the moment where she opens up and is emotionally vulnerable is like on the internet where she commits internet career suicide, and like I feel like it's way more empowering. Like that scene is so much more empowering than like I wish I could think of a good counterexample of like a movie where like yeah the icy cold badass is like I guess I will you know put on a dress and like you know dance with you at the ball or whatever,
right.
or like give in to your demands like of the you know male protagonist. Like I don't know, it's I like that side of it a lot, and I like the central theming and character arc. Like they had something there, you know. It's not a soulless film by any means.
Mallory, I like all the characters. I like the premise. I like the visuals. I like the music. I love some of the scenes. Why don't I like this movie anymore? And even at the time didn't really like. I watched it 3 times in theaters because I was really just trying to like unpack it, and it's like I love that final scene so much, and I think it works so not the final scene, but the final scene in You so much, and I just can't get over it, and I can't get it out of my head. And now Mamoru Hosoda is making a new movie with a pinkish, reddish haired protagonist in some weird medieval setting, and it's got weird 3D animation that will probably be beautiful in the moment. And I'm like, what's he doing now? What's he cooking? I don't know. I'm flummoxed by this movie. This is probably the most down I've been on it, but I've watched it like a lot of times.
Yeah, I mean, I think I will say one thing is like I think there's also an element of like writing like line to line writing, where like because you brought up the point earlier where they kind of like over explain a lot of stuff in this movie.
Yes, I think the dialogue in this movie largely is pretty weak.
There's a lot of that, but there's also like it's like yeah like some rewriting of some dialogue and like being less over explaining about stuff would definitely go a long way of like being smoother and like easier for us to accept. But I do think like because like did you watch the dubbed version of it?
I did this time, and I think the dub is I think some scenes are weaker in the dub, like particularly the one that jumped out to me is there's the moment where her and the Beast have their Beauty and the Beast moment, and it's like, is this going to be romantic? Like, what direction is this going? And she kind of like she looks into the Beast's eyes and goes like, he's a child, and like has that realization, and it becomes more motherly, which also ties back to her and her possible future boyfriend, which is also called out to be very motherly in a weird way, and her mother, right? I think that moment works way better in the sub. It's like more explicit. I think in the dub they cut out the line of her being like, "Oh, he's just a kid." Basically, like they go in for what looks like it's going to be a kiss, and it's a hug, right? And I think it's like a nice. That's like a nice moment. But yeah, why were you asking about the dub? Sorry.
Well, yeah, I was basically gonna say like because I watched the dub for the first time this time as well, and like I definitely like I was looking up a lot of stuff on YouTube because just like subs like the Japanese audio scenes to kind of be like, is this just like delivery stuff? And I do think like this is and like here's the thing, we're not losers on this podcast. We've gone like several episodes in a row like advocating for dubs over subs for like Cyberpunk. Beastars was pretty good. Like we are not like purists or whatever, but I do think this one is like where,
However,
like I think this is one where Japanese audio probably wins out. But even then, it didn't lose the like over explaining, over expository kind of like edge. Like there's lines like Luca, who's like the like popular girl or whatever, who's like playing the marching band. It's like her introduction scene or whatever, and they're like hanging out, like looking down on her or whatever, and they're kind of like
she's in the
gossiping,
band.
and it's
She's
like
so popular. She could have any guy she wants.
Yeah.
She's so popular. Man, Ruka's so popular. You just think she's popular. No, I don't. It's like, okay.
it's like
I think in general,
yeah.
I find a lot of like anime to be over-explanatory, and I think I forgive it more in sub because I'm reading it and it doesn't like jump out to me or bother me as much. But yeah, there is something about it where it's like, especially with this movie, it's like, shut up! Like, we get it.
Yeah, no, it's like there's definitely like, because that has been done in like every movie has the popular girl that people are jealous of, and like you can do that with zero dialogue. You and people have done it with dialogue in ways that are a lot more like naturalistic and easy to like stomach, I think, compared to like immediately that was like, oh, this is like very like heavy-handed, and then just continues to be that about like, because there's stuff I can understand where they might have like been like, okay, we should maybe err on the side of like explaining to audiences like what's going on in our weird internet world, but like
I get the feeling that you have to over-explain the
issue.
you. Right. The movie feels like it doesn't have any confidence in its premise, where like I get it feels the need to constantly explain like this is how the internet works and this is how internet rumors work, and like we're gonna have multiple montages about people trying to figure out someone's like internet persona. I get feeling the need to over explain that. I do, because it's like there's a lack of confidence, but I think it makes sense. But yeah, the basic like character interactions in a high school part is like it's really a little overdone, where it's like Belle's talking to her friend who's now a sports captain and is very popular. It's like she's talking to the popular guy. Hey, Suzu's talking to the popular guy. It's like, we get it.
That's not allowed.
But then the movie's weirdly subtle in other parts. Like I think the idea that Suzu believes that the picture she used to create her avatar made a mistake and made Belle look like the girl that she is like projecting some of her insecurities onto, right? And then immediately it's confirmed, no, it's based on you because the freckles happen, right? But throughout the whole movie, there's this implication that Suzu thinks that Belle looks like Ruka, not her, because she can't see herself as beautiful. And that is like really interesting and is using this idea like in a really cool way.
No, totally.
And more of that.
Yeah, there's other stuff like when the like the Beast Boy when he's like doing his thing of like stay away, don't talk to me, which he does several times. Like he does it in his Beast avatar form, and then he also does it on the live stream when he like hangs up on her. It's like, don't come and contact me or whatever, and like basically is like growling and trying to like intimidate her and like scare her away. And then like his abusive father does the same thing to her on the street when she like finally stands up to him and like faces him down or whatever. And like, you know, weirdness of like that situation aside, like it does feel like a good, like it that's why it emotionally works, and it feels like a good resolution and ending, is that like she stands up to him and like doesn't like the Beast, she'll get scared away and come back, but like finally she stands up unflinching to him as he does the same thing, and you're like, oh, that's like how this son learned to be scary to people, is like watching his dad be scary and an asshole to him. You know, and it's yeah, like they're not completely hopeless. It just feels like, yeah, there was maybe some one that stuck out to me as being really annoying as well was the okay, Icon Loki, like kind of diva, but she doesn't get enough exposure in the movie, is the like
Peggy Sue.
rival. Yeah, Peggy Sue.
I knew you were gonna talk about Peggy Sue. I was waiting for it.
We gotta be talking about Peggy Sue on this podcast, but yeah, like there's a part where like she like has the change of heart and like it starts cheering on Belle, like Belle, please sing or whatever, and like that moment works, and like you're saying,
It works
like
really
the whole,
well. It's
the
not
scene
earned at
works.
all, but it's like it's good.
Yeah, like it works because you see the emotion on her face. You see her like putting aside this like petty jealousies and like being like oh Belle, I got to cheer you on this like emotional moment or whatever. But then there are characters around her that go, huh? That's Peggy Sue, and it's like to highlight that's confusing that she's doing this. Like we don't need that. We get it.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Well, because like that's another moment where it's like the movie can be weirdly, while being as blatant as possible, can be weirdly subtle, right? Like she's watching these avatars around her, like immediately throw Belle away. Like Belle has risen to the top of the charts, is the popular, cyber Jesus or whatever, and Peggy Sue used to be that character, and is like, oh man, it feels really bad to like be discarded so like frivolously, and so like her being the one to like start leading the chant, like the sing along, is really it's a good scene, but there's just little moments of like, hey, is that Peggy Sue? It's like, shut up. Like let the scene sit, like let it be good.
Yeah, which is also I like the way that you put that, because that also connects to something I was thinking about, which is just like female pop stars in general. I feel like it's like one of those areas where like, I don't know, it's been like the breeding grounds for like these like self-made women and empowered women and stuff for like so many years. Like it's your Beyonces, and like it's there's
a lot of like lore making in. Right, there's like these people are held up so high, but there's also just like a lot of like mythos around them, right? Like your Beyoncés or your Swifts or what have you.
Yeah, and the overcoming the like jealousy type thing or whatever, and like it all meshes well with like her being like an empowered like self-made woman who like doesn't need saving. Like it's cool, it's like it does meld well, but yeah, it's just like lost a little bit in the translation to like being an actual script with dialogue and like how certain things are delivered.
If the movie didn't have dialogue, it'd be so much better.
except for just the songs. I do have la 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 that is stuck in my head.
It's good. It works really well. Well, because all the people light up, and it's like this it's a sea of stars, and it's beautiful. It's like, God, that scene should not be that good, but it's so good. The animation also just kicks into like high gear at that moment. Like every strand of her hair is like really well animated. It's just good. I don't know what the hell else to say.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it would be like, I really wish it was a musical. Like I wish other people sung. Like if Peggy Sue had a song, that would be my favorite thing in the world.
It could use that energy of like, it could be a little bit more contrived if it was a musical, right?
Yeah, like musicals you can get away with like being that heightened because it's you just care about the emotional logic. Like you are not digging into like the minute details of things. But yeah, like it feels like it doesn't go all the way in like areas where it should go. And then instead is just like trying to reach like a bunch of different ideas and like glob them onto this thing.
And some of those ideas really work, but they get like very little time.
Definitely. I want to talk about the little boy with autism.
What about him?
Because it's just it was interesting to me. I think I didn't know as much about autism when I watched it the first time. But like watching it now, and especially being like a teacher of young students, and that being something that I kind of like keep an eye on. Like there are certain kids that you're like, okay, this kid is like pretty likely on the spectrum, and like you kind of need to adapt your like communication styles with them. Like I'm very familiar with the thing that causes the dad to like blow up and be so frustrated is like he's like asking the kid to do something that he thinks is like a simple request, which like kids in general, like just because you think something is simple and reasonable, it's not going to be. This is not how kid brains work. But
Right.
yeah, like the pretty heavy autism coding. So then I was Googling it, and like, you know, all the Japanese people of the film were like, yeah, it seems like pretty obviously like autism thing as well. So I thought it was like, I was interested in the aspects of the we're not autistic, so I don't know what is like
Where are you going
ideal
with this? What?
representation.
No.
But well, I'm just
Uh-huh.
okay. I'm talking about stuff that I hear about autism representation,
Mhm.
basically. But I'm also clarifying that I'm not autistic, so I might miss some like
Certainly.
aspects that
We're
like
not experts
people
here,
might.
but the
Yeah,
character is like coded to be autistic or to be on the spectrum.
yeah, and it's like I think I like how it's depicted in terms of like I think it. I'm like I feel like it understands like why like it the scene like feels sympathetic to the little boy who just like
Mhm.
doesn't get it, like what the or not doesn't get it, but is like, you know,
From a
it's
plot
just
perspective,
is
it makes more sense why he is like so invested in you and doing things
mm,
like making a weird digital castle with AI that protect it and like
yeah,
hyper has a hyper fixation on Belle, right? Like he's like her first follower is like the
mm,
implication. And
yeah,
and it also like you're immediately sympathetic with this kid because you can that disconnect with the father, it both makes it make more sense why the dad is the way he is, even though he's bad.
mm,
Like it makes
yeah,
you're like, oh, I get it now. I get why this guy is like such a piece of shit to his autistic son, is because he just doesn't have he's
any
not
patience or
he
empathy
has no
or
patience,
yeah.
right? Exactly.
Mm. Yeah, it's like you can understand the dynamic like very quickly, and I feel like it's like pretty good at depicting it. At the same time, it's like weirdly like it feels like falling into this thing of like this like the kid being like magical and like he
It
has
does
this
have a
like
little magical
ethereal
autism boy for
otherworldly
sure.
yeah and like but also he's not actually magical. But
Mm.
it's that's why it's weird to me. It's like it feels like it's
But he's a
doing the
weird
magical
angel
autism thing.
avatar,
Yeah, like
and he builds these weird AI, and it's like not clear how those
mm,
work. And it's yeah, it makes some leaps here and there.
yeah, it's like so that's basically why I was like interested in it because I'm like I feel like it's feels not like the worst, but also feels like it is like it's like almost using the language of that trope to like
Hmm.
flag like this kid is like, you know, like neurodivergent, but like I feel like he doesn't really actually do any magical stuff. Just he just seems to like have this like pure heart of a child's type thing going on. I guess I don't know.
I'll say
But
this: when I first
yeah.
watched the movie in theaters 4 years ago,
Mm,
my first time through, I didn't pick up on it because so much of
mm,
the rest of the movie is like strange and offbeat. That to me it was just like,
mm,
oh well, we're gonna have the most extreme version of like the younger brother who needs protecting, and it didn't even connect with me.
mm,
It's like, oh, it's because like he's autistic or on the spectrum.
mm,
And
mm.
watching it now, I think the movie handles it mostly well. Again, it's a little strange about like being autistic shouldn't give you magic cyber powers, but it kind of does. But beyond
Yeah.
that, it is, I think, one of the better like emotional beats. You do really feel that the
Yeah.
scene of when you see their home life and it's all shot from the perspective of
Mm,
the webcam, and you can like feel Suzu and all of her friends behind her like watching in like shock and horror as it's happening. Like it's pretty powerful. Like and it stays on that
yeah.
scene and does it all in like one take and one angle. Like it's got the movie's got some juice in terms of like
Yeah.
directing. And then yeah, it doesn't quite.
I
And
also
then
feel
she
like
gets
yeah.
slapped by the guy, and then the guy's like, "I guess I'm not going to be an abusive dad anymore." And then the movie ends. It's like, all right.
Yeah. I feel like the yeah, like the depiction of like the abusive dad is also like pretty good, I think. Like it's like I don't think the movie like defaults on like sympathizing with him like at any point, which I feel like is it like I feel like it gives you there's the glimpse of like fear in his eyes when he like runs away, and that's like that one glimpse you kind of need to like see that he's like human, I guess, which like I think is good, but like I feel like it's like it's also because like she has her dad, and it's like they're two families who have like lost the mother, and like the father's like having to do all the work as like a single father like raising them, and you have her dad who's just like, you know, out of the way, like give her space, like, you know, I'll leaving you snacks or whatever, and then you have this dad who's like going on the news and like talking about like how hard it is to be a single father and what a great person he is, and then he's like abusing his children behind closed doors. Yeah, and it's like I don't know. I feel like it's a I don't know. I like how that is depicted overall. However, what is the ending? Like, what is going on there?
What's going on here? First of all, why did they send her by herself? I have a lot of questions about the choir team. I have a lot of questions about beyond the fact that it's insane that they send her by herself to like go across the country to save this person.
When she has 5 adult women with her, like,
her dad's just like, all right, well, we'll see you when you get home. I think their text conversation's sweet, but anyway,
I like that part.
I remember thinking this a lot on first watch of like, I think that scene would have made more sense. There's something powerful about it when he is like so taken aback by her, and I feel like the movie's trying to say that she reminds him of his dead wife, but we don't know anything about the dead wife. We only see the one image of her with like the shattered portrait in the castle, but that also might be why Kay Angel Kid, is it Kay or is it Kay the brother? Tomo Angel Kid is like obsessed with Belle because they look kind of similar in that portrait. There's a lot of mirror imagery in this that's really again sometimes weirdly understated and then overstated. It's like the whole balance of this movie. But to me, that scene would have made a lot more sense if, like, you know, they're having their fight in the rain or whatever, and neighbors start coming out. And the guy it's more of like I'm going to lose my social standings thing. And the guy backs off because of that. Like, that would have made more sense to me. The physicality of it's just strange, where it's like this 16-year-old girl, I don't know how old she is, but, you know, this high school age girl is, like, intimidating this, like, muscular, buff, evil, like, child beater. I feel like the evil child beater wouldn't have backed down in this situation, but...
Yeah, it's like, what's another child?
Emotional logic, right?
Yeah. Like, I think that it's cool, like, her not being scared of him, basically, like, diffusing it.
I love the look
like,
of it. Like, her with the, like, the cut, and it's, like, that shock of red, and everything else is muted because of the rain. Like, visually, like, it's really... impressive, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but no, I think like what you're getting at with like the neighbor seeing like makes a lot of sense, and like the like yeah, just overall it needs some sort of consequences or some sort of like tangible change in their lives to have any meaning. Really,
yeah, Kay just says like, you gave me the strength to stand up for myself. Anyway, we're gonna go back to abusive dad now. Like, there's like, what happens next? Like.
Yeah, it's like he is standing up for himself consistently. Like, he jumps in the way to physically shield the dad from beating his brother. Like, he absolutely... The problem is not that he cannot stand up for himself. The problem is that he's, like, trapped in this house, and his dad is, like, a, like, you know, capable liar who is able to, like, fend off all these, like, different people who are trying to, like, intervene, and he's not believed.
And yes, like... he's turning into a beast because of the beast in his real life, right? Like, there is the idea that, like, Suzu is saving his soul. Like, he's not going to be an asshole now. He's not going to be this thing that everyone thinks he is on the U. But also, like, practically, could we, like, this person needs help. These brothers need, like, an adult.
Yeah, like, have the little techie friend come out and be like, I had a camera or whatever, and like, or like, I recorded the live stream, I'm sending it to, and like, finally the Child Protective Services are actually going to take it seriously this time, or something.
Or
that's
even
like,
just
okay,
like,
let's get you out of the situation.
The choir lady's told, they rush through this, but the choir lady's told, like, it can take 48 hours and you need some kind of proof for there to be a wellness check. Like, have that be the proof needed, or like make it the requirement, like you need to have
or stall for 48 hours, like keep them
you need
somewhere
to have a
safe
relative or
for 48
close
hours.
neighbor say something or report this, right? Like, there's so many ways that like it could just be tightened up a little bit, and I feel like the movie would work a lot better.
Yeah, because you do just kind of look and like, yeah, like the being like, I learned how to say, like, the problem is that he's in the situation that he can't escape, and he's having to suck up all of this stuff, and it's like manifesting in these like bruises on his online body or whatever, even when like, because in the actual live stream scene, the dad doesn't actually physically beat him in that one, even though like feels like probably he does
I feel
at
like
other
it's a mix
times.
of both, right? There's like an implication there that it could be way darker.
Yeah, like the verbal abuse obviously also leaves an impact, but yeah, like it's like the problem is that he's trapped in that pressure cooker. So it's like a solution that isn't he gets out feels like a little bit, you know, or that something significant changes. You know what I mean? Like it feels just a
Right.
little
The problem
like
isn't his
lukewarm.
emotions. That's a secondary problem,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah,
it is the dad. The dad is the problem.
It's it's putting the responsibility on the like victim rather than the abuser a little. I feel like it's also like something that I kind of wanted. Okay. So did you pick up on like the dad and the Reddit moderator being really, really similar?
I only in the sense that they're like overbearing and care about like their appearances or what have you. Like they care about the narrative around them.
They're
We
kind
don't
of
get enough of the dad for me to like
yeah.
draw that connection, but you could.
I feel like they're the only characters that are like each other in that way in the show or in the movie. And I kind of feel like it would be good if we saw Belle almost on the path to becoming like that, like to becoming more controlling. Like, not anywhere near that to where she became so despicable and like unlikable, but like, you know, caring about her image, like wanting to be more controlling, like getting like frustrated and just being kind of like self-centered and self-serving or whatever and all of these things, like, you know, because I don't know, like I don't know, I just feel like it would have carried, because it feels like it's like everyone's reacting to their dead mothers, like these two families, Belle's family and Kay's family, and like rather than Belle and Kay be like, I almost feel like Belle and the father being foils, or Belle's father being a foil to his father in some way that we could like see and like make a connection. I don't know, it could be cool. It feels like there's a lot on the table that's not necessarily, I don't know if what I'm saying is making any sense, but it's just kind of
the two brothers and their dad, I would say, is like a very underdeveloped part of this movie in general. I think it's great setup for that scene that I keep coming back to, of like a situation where the only way to save this person or to find this person, which is what they're trying to do, to talk with them, to reach out to them, is to reveal yourself, right? I think that works way better than it should in this movie, because it's just, the scene itself is great and the visuals are great, and the tying back to the mom, I think, is again like goes understated, which to me makes it jump out so much more than if it was told to me 8 times. If everyone in the room's going, she's just like her mom, she's just like her mom, hey, other 3
That's
choir
exactly
girls,
how
did you know, dude, she's just like her mom,
she sounds like
and
her
even,
mom.
yeah, exactly. And even like the little flashes that happen in that scene are more subtle. Like that's the scene where you learn that her would-be boyfriend was at the riverbank that day, right? Is the one that like grabbed her hand, and it's just really quick and it's really sweet, and it does a lot for that character who's kind of a weirdo. You get the little flash of her with the choir ladies and her mom, which you hadn't seen. Like there's just like these little moments that are maybe a little emotionally manipulative, but really work in the like, I'm getting choked up watching this kind of way.
Yeah, like the shot with the choir lady, like that's a great subtle thing where like at the beginning it's like she's just hanging out with like this group of ladies of all different ages who the true divas of the evening are them, except for the fact that they don't come with her on this dangerous mission.
Except for the fact that they send her
kinda-
off to like clear danger in the end.
Yeah, they're like, take him down, Belle. But yeah, like I think that like her hanging out with them is like you're kind of like, oh, okay, I guess they just live in the same neighborhood, and then like the penny drops of like, oh, they were her mom's friends. Like you're just like, oh, like this is. I don't know. They're really cool characters. There's a lot of
And they
like,
knew that she was
cool,
Belle the
nice
whole
stuff.
time, which is also great. Like it's a tiny little thing,
Yeah.
but it's like it's really sweet. Like
So funny. Oh man. Yeah. It's there's a lot of missed potential in this movie and a lot of like potential rewrites, but yeah, and it's like the other thing, like I guess in like comparisons to like other movies, like I will say like one thing I was thinking about was like I feel like it is kind of a consistent thread in some of these movies that there is like some logic thing that becomes very frustrating on a plot level. I know.
I think it
don't
gets
remember.
worse as like the longer these movies are further into Mamoru Hosoda's career. I think it like is more and more of a problem.
Yeah, like
because I don't like Mirai at all. Like you and I saw Mirai together. There's also a weird thing where the movies I like of his less do better. Like that movie got an Academy Award nomination. He's the only other Japanese animation director to ever get that. Like it's Miyazaki and him. Belle is his most financially successful. Before that was Boy and the Beast, which I think also has a lot of like weird logic problems in it. I think that movie does it better, but it has some shaky parts. And just so on and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so that's the thing. Boy and the Beast was the only one I could think of as an exception, but I maybe don't remember it as well as like I think Boy and the Beast is my favorite in a weird way. I don't remember anything sticking out to me as like I think because it's like a fantasy world from the jump, you're kind of like, like like
there's a little bit of like
his
he became a sword in his heart. What does that mean? Like there's a little like, don't worry about it. We're at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I feel like it makes a lot of sense in that movie just because like there's just a lot of like it's established that like these like the winning fighters can like become gods and become like laws of the universe. It feels like anything's possible, but it's just got to be one thing that's like a consistent principle or whatever. And like, he fills the whole of like, the sort of his heart of like basically just being his
He's his
father
dad.
figure
Yeah.
for this kid that doesn't have
for
a
sure.
parent, but like I think that like that I'm like a lot more forgiving, but like I think the other thing that I was thinking of like the other movies is that I feel like they usually only have like one crazy thing and like most of the rest of it is like pretty grounded, you know what I mean? Like I think like
I don't mind plot contrivances if it leads to
Yeah.
like an emotional payoff, right? Like I think
Yeah.
Summer Wars, the guy who enables the AI to hack the world and the guy who invented the AI just happened to be at the same summer home in this like connected to the same family. It's like, yeah, that's a contrivance, but it leads to like great stuff with the uncle character and with the main character and the family. Like I think that's all
But
fine.
she's
I don't mind
attracted
like
to
I don't
him
mind
because-
that.
she's attracted
It
to him
fits the
because
logic of
she's
the
into
movie.
her uncle. She
I don't want
she
to
has a
get to
crush.
that part. That
No, we
Hey,
have
now,
to.
let's not get
She
to
has
that
a crush on her uncle. She has a crush on her uncle, so then she seeks out people who are like her uncle, and she finds the only person capable of doing what her uncle could with the AI or
Ugh.
whatever.
What I'm getting at, like that
easy.
movie has some like leaps, right? But it's like they defeat the evil AI by playing Koi Koi Hanafume. Is that what the game's called? The card game.
Hanafuda, I think. Oh man, if I'm wrong, I'm gonna get kicked out of the country of Japan.
Yeah, I'm gonna take your Japanese professional card. I like Summer Wars a lot better than Belle. Is what I'm getting at. Even though like all of his movies have some wacky stuff in them, but I think it's more of a problem as it starts to affect like the plot and the actual like what you're supposed to be feeling and taking away from these characters.
Yeah. Like it's like stuff like the I think it's contrivances. It's like there. I think a lot of work is done in Belle to like make the Belle and Beast story the center of the U and the most important thing that's happening in the U. When it's like, does it need those stakes? Like, I feel like saving two kids from an abusive home are like such high stakes.
Plenty of
It's like,
stakes. Yeah.
yeah, like the subplot, like I think the subplot of like trying to find the identity of the beast like does lead to like a couple of things of like extra dialogue, maybe some societal commentary, but like nothing that feels worth having it around, you know what I mean?
No,
It's
the
like,
cool scene with the random baseball player like is interesting and cool, and it's like, oh, that makes me think a little bit about, anonymity and online rumors and whatnot. But it's not worth like dedicating 30 minutes of the movie to this whole like let's uncover who this is plot.
yeah, and I don't like the woman who's the baby who's posting her
Got
fake
the fake
family with stock
Instagram
photos.
family, yeah.
I don't really get that. As much as I've been like, I feel like this movie is like kind of feminist, I feel like that part feels misogynist to me, like a little bit, because it's like I don't really get what the point was with her. It's just like I don't know.
We need to explain that people lie on the internet for some reason, and we have to explain it in the most blatant way possible. It's like, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah, like that's the thing. It's like weirdly, this guy's made two movies about the internet, and I feel like he doesn't understand the internet very well.
Mallory's done
It's
it
like,
3 times. The Digimon movie's also Summer Wars. This is his third remake of that same movie.
yeah, I don't know. It's like there's some cool conceits, and it feels like it would be more in place if it came out in like the early 2000s and like we didn't know as much about what the internet was going to be, it's
Right.
like I think we would have like a different, I feel like people would be more like wowed about it. It feels like in the category of like technological speculative fiction, in a way, like not maybe not quite sci-fi because it's like pretty grounded in like our modern world, but like, leaning towards that and having like optimistic interpretations of like certain technologies. But yeah, I don't know, it's like it's yeah.
That's kind of how I feel as well. Boy and the Beast is your favorite?
What'd you say?
I said Boy and the Beast is your favorite?
I love Boy and the Beast. That's one of my favorite movies. I really
Let's
like
rank them right now. Let's talk about it. I like Boy and the Beast, but it's not my favorite.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's talk about good movies, and Belle is maybe a good movie.
I think Boy and the Beast, Summer Wars, and Wolf Children are my top 3. I feel like I might need to rewatch them to get like a solid order, but I think it might be that order. I think it might be Boy and the Beast, Summer Wars, and Wolf Children. The worst part to me about Boy and the Beast is the 3D stuff. I feel like it doesn't meld super well, especially because there's such amazing 2D animation on display like front and center. I'm obviously not anti 3D, like I like Beast Stars, but like I feel like it's an obvious like budget saving thing that feels like, okay, this is a cheaper version of what could have been a better movie, which like at least it got made, I guess. But yeah, it's just visually not.
I feel like
like
the 3D
grabbing,
works way
like,
better in Belle. Like I think
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
getting
no,
closer
Belle,
to like what the ideal.
and also because it's like very much do like the 2D world and the 3D world and like create like these different environments. Like I really enjoyed in Belle. I think like Boy and the Beast is like an awkward transitionary period where it's just basically used to save money. It's like, but like
Let me
other
tell you,
than
this
like
new movie Scarlet looks like really heavily 3D, and I don't know how to feel about it. But there's not been enough released about it yet to like I've seen like 10 seconds of animation, but I'm like,
right.
oh, it's also a medieval story. It looks like, and I don't know. I got concerns, but
Yeah.
maybe it'll be cool. I hope it's simpler.
Yeah. Definitely. But yeah, that's my biggest criticism of Boy and the Beast is just the like visuals, but other than that,
The
like
whale.
I love that movie. Like that's one of my favorite. I don't like The Whale to me honestly is fine cuz it's like a weird unique thing in the movie or whatever. It's the background.
Is it more like
animals.
Exploding Tokyo? Yeah.
it's just the background animals, because it's like the main animals are 2D, but the background animals, to fill out a crowd, we've used 3D animation to like fill out a background rather than having to draw this background and draw all the little animals moving. And it just is worse for it. And it's like, just don't have people in the shot or something. I don't know. Like, yeah, because it's
It's
just a little bit unfortunate. But yeah.
You reminded me about something. So I really do. You mentioned it earlier. I really do like Mamoru Hosoda a lot. Like, I like all these movies a whole lot. Even Belle, that I'm having problems with. Mirai, maybe I have to revisit it someday. It's bottom of my list.
Yeah.
That kid cries too much. I know he's a toddler, but like, Jesus. A weird tidbit about him. He was supposed to direct Howl's Moving Castle, which is also like the most 3D I can think of in that era of Ghibli. Like, Ghibli has some 3D stuff now, but that's like a really unique blend of 3D animation and 2D, where like the castle is this weird 3D monstrosity, and it's like it works well in that movie as being this weird, thoughtful blend of the two styles in a way that like has an impact and an effect. And it's really weird to think about like what his version of that movie would have been if he actually did direct it. Because I don't think he got past like the storyboarding stage, but he was originally going to be like another Ghibli director, of which they only have like 3.
Yeah, very interesting. I feel like I want to hear your ranking as well, but then yeah, like the whole conversation about him being like the replacement Ghibli or like the new Ghibli or whatever. I feel like
he's one of many, many, many. The next Mamoru Hosoda or the next Hayao Miyazaki. There's so many.
Yeah, it's like people are so, I feel like, thirsty to find the next one of this guy, when like it's like you got to realize that this guy was original and not just like try to push and pigeonhole people into being him, because that's not going to go anywhere for you, you know. But
and I think Hosoda's pretty original as well. Like, I think he and Makoto Shinkai get accused of trying, or get a lot of stuff, expectations placed on them, right? And Makoto Shinkai literally made like a knockoff Ghibli movie, so that's fair. But yeah, they're unique. They have a unique tone. They have a unique like kinetic pacing style that I really enjoy. Summer Wars is my favorite. I think the general consensus on the internet is like a Wolf Children or a Girl Who Left
I think
Through Time,
Wolf Children's
which is
probably
also fantastic.
like, Wolf Children feels objectively like the best one. For sure.
Yeah, and I can see that and agree with it. Summer Wars for me just always hits the hardest. I like the family stuff in that a lot. I've never been a single mother, but the mom stuff in Wolf Children does make me cry. Don't get me wrong, all of these movies make me cry. But yeah, for me it definitely goes Summer Wars, Wolf Children, and then probably Girl Who Lived Through Time, and then Boy and the Beast. Girl Who Lived Through Time, I like basically all of it except for the ending.
Yeah, it's
and
number
then below
4
all
for
of
me.
that.
If they
is
kissed,
Belle.
it would be number 1.
Absolutely. And then Belle, and then Mirai. That's like the 6 that anyone care about. That anyone like actually cares
I feel
about.
like Mirai feels like it would be a good movie if I was 5 and I had just gotten a younger sibling for the first time and I was struggling with that transition, you know.
Another movie where it's like, this is not badly made, it just annoys me.
Yeah, it feels well made, but it feels like the moral lesson of the story doesn't really hit. There's not like a lot of meat on the bone there for anyone who isn't like actually a toddler and doesn't really understand the concept of like not wanting everything for
like
yourself,
sharing.
not being selfish. Yeah, and sharing. That's like the moral of the story feels like sharing. And it's like
I think I left Boy and the Beast out of my ranking. I'm sorry. I just realized I totally missed one.
No, I think you put it like 4th, I think.
I put did I?
Yeah, I think you had like Summer Wars, Wolf Children, Mirai, Boy and the Beast.
Absolutely not. Mirai is not my 3rd favorite.
Or no.
Summer Wars, Wolf Children,
Wars,
Girl Who
Wolf
Left Through
Children,
Time,
Girl Who Left Through Time. Yeah.
Boy and the Beast, Belle, Mirai. The ending of Belle above like all of that. I really like the ending of Belle a lot.
Yeah. Just like cut like
just not the actual
2-minute
ending
segment and move it to the top.
That's the 3 minutes in the finale of Belle, just like rocketed above.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I mean, I feel like we're wrapping up. Final thoughts on the movie. The soundtrack is cool, but like, there's not enough variation. Get a couple different artists in the studio. Like, have, you know, take some bigger swings. I feel like, you know, get there. You're. It's good for a rookie filmmaker, but maybe you'll get it on your next time, kid.
It doesn't have this huge musical catalog, right? There's like 3 lyrical songs in the whole thing. I will say though, that first song, "You," it's a banger, and it's been on my running playlist for like 5 years now, and I love it. I love it dearly. It's got like the rat-a-tat drums in it. It's just excellent. The guy who did that music for this movie is a guy named Ludwig Forssell. He's also the main composer for Hideo Kojima games. It's a really weird connection.
Ooh.
Like, he did the music for Metal Gear Solid 5 and also Death Stranding. Just very bizarre. Weird connections. There's also another famous Ludwig composer operating right now. It's weird there are 2 Ludwigs that are making music in the 21st century. Other guy is the guy who does like some of the new Star Wars music.
I feel like if you were named Ludwig, you would feel a lot of pressure to kind of go
to be a composer.
Direction. Yeah,
it's like if you're born like 7'1", you have like a 30% chance of playing in the NBA. It's like if you're born Ludwig, you have to be a composer.
Yeah. You're kind of ushered in that direction. Definitely, you've been assigned a mission.
Well, we've already ranked all of the Hosoda movies, but that's not the objective of this podcast. We got to rank a bunch of random bullshit that we pitch to each other. So, Mallory, I want to hear where you put Belle. And don't just give it a B, because that'd be lazy. B for Belle.
Well, I don't... my ranking isn't letters, so I can actually get away with anything, and no one will know if I just made Belle B. And also, you did B for B stars.
No. I did do B for B stars.
If you ever want like an easy ranking, you just gotta give me the Dover Boys, and it'll just be right there. But if you ever just need a slam dunk on this podcast, but yeah, no, Belle as one of my less favorite Mamoru Hosoda movies, still a good movie. It's not a bad thing overall, and I do like enjoy aspects of watching it. Like, I'm not falling asleep watching it. I'm definitely like entertained. I'm just a little like what and why for a little longer than I would like to be. And for all of that, I will rank it as cute, which would be the B rating for you. So
I knew it. I could feel it.
You could smell it on the wind. Yeah,
I feel like I spent the entire podcast talking shit about a movie I really like, but
I'm just
so frustrated.
Yeah, it's hard not to be frustrating watching, because you're just like, this could be sick, and I could love this, and I don't.
It could be his best movie, like with like a few changes, like it in another pass of the dialogue, like it could be his best. And I don't think
be my favorite.
Scarlet, this weird medieval like CGI dragon movie that's coming out, I don't think it's gonna be his best, but I could be wrong. I would pleasantly be surprised. Stay tuned to that in January.
I think he's a really nice guy, and I think he made this movie that's very optimistic about the internet, and I think he's just like a nice, friendly, smiley guy, and I think he's just gonna keep going. But I think like you gotta have that edge, and like Miyazaki just has that edge of just being like, people like his movies like they like it for the wrong reasons.
Miyazaki's also a psychopath.
He just has that little like bit of darkness and cynicism in him, like just enough sprinkled on to where like he will continue. He's stayed sharp through the years. I think Mamoru Hosoda is just kind of like, just make it about anything. It's just have fun. It's a fun movie. We don't.
Miyazaki's like, yeah, Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, really botched those.
Yeah.
How about check out Boy and the Heron, where it's really, really sad.
It's It's like I've ruined a generation of children because of Totoro. It was too cute.
Exactly.
The capitalist machine. It's moving forward. Like,
you know what? Yeah. You know, Totoro was a dual screen, like a double feature with Grave of the Fireflies. That's how those two movies were originally released. Anyway, this is off topic, but that's just wild.
That's insane. I think you'll never get Mamoru Hosoda like having a quote from an interview like after seeing someone's animation AI project that they made being like, I fear for the future. Like, I despair for our future youth. Like,
it was so real for that.
It's time for another pitch from my corner. So, Sam, it's Pride Month. We're 2 videos into Pride Month, and we haven't mentioned or acknowledged anything about it at all. It kind of seems like LGBT stocks are down. It's like no one's paying attention to them anymore. We're just kind of being just crushed under the boot of this new fascist regime or old
Much like Target,
regime.
We're removing all references to LGBT communities in our podcast. So, Mallory, I have sent you the paper bag. I noticed you're not wearing it yet, but like, you know, any day now I'm gonna get sent to El Salvador because I'm on a podcast with you. So let's maybe think about that next time we're making our cosplay and we're living our true selves and our true life.
Yeah, a little bit too much face paint for if you want to stay out of an El Salvadorian prison. Yeah. No, I love the idea of us being on like the list, like the Instagram infographic of like companies who have divested from.
We're there. We're right up there with Hassan Piker. We're gonna get stopped at TSA.
Completely turned our back on the community. No, we gotta stand up. We gotta stand proud. We gotta stand strong in the face of adversity. So, despite Deltarune completely wrecking my entire media landscape this month, just real inopportune. I mean, it's pretty gay, but it's like there's so much else going on in it. We're not doing Deltarune. So sorry to Deltarune fans that are undoubtedly watching this video, waiting for me to pitch Deltarune again. We're gonna give it some more time to like. I need to play through it a lot. Yeah, we're gonna have like 3 days to play it, I think, by the time this episode comes out. Like I want some time to like marinate, even though I will probably have finished it by the time we get to the next episode. But yeah, no, we're going Pride, and I have searched up and down for what is the thing that makes me so proud to be me, and a little musical album I think we have got to get through and dissect and just gossip all about. Do you know what's coming?
I don't, but last time you pitched me Lemonade, and I didn't have much to say about Lemonade, so now I'm scared.
And twice. So these are my... Well, this one, like, at the very least, I will be talking the whole time.
That's good. What do we got?
Let's go, girls. It's time to talk about
like
Rina Sawayama. Yes. I've been debating a lot because, like, the one that I honestly want to talk about is like Hold the Girl, which is her like third album, I guess.
The newest one, right?
Her first one is like a little bit more of like a Huff mini EP feeling thing, but like the newest one. Sawayama is the one we're going to talk about next week, which is the one that
self-titled,
the most popular one. Self-titled. Well, she has one called Reno and one called Sawayama, so it's like which one's
it's really confusing.
What do we do? But yeah, I feel
self-titled too.
I feel like if we wanted to talk about Rina or Hold the Girl, we need to have like discussed and been on the same page about Sawayama, because any conversation I could envision about Hold the Girl felt like we would fall back into a conversation about Sawayama. Even though I know we've both listened to it, it's like I feel like we got to clear the air about the main one first, and then that's where we're gonna be talking about, because it's something that makes me very happy and I want to embrace it in this.
I have not revisited this album basically since it came out, and that was like a long time ago.
I think 2020. Maybe.
Yeah. 2020 is now a long time ago. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, there's gonna be. I'm
Old.
gonna be teaching kids
Old.
I'm gonna be teaching kids in a few years that like the pandemic was like the before time. The COVID is gonna be like 9/11 to them. Is like 9/11 is to me, and that I completely should have known about it and just somehow didn't.
We were 4,
Old.
so it's it's fair. Old.
Yeah. So thank you so much for watching. Shout out to all our elderly Girl Who Left with Time original screening viewers.
Yes, to all the longtime diehard Hosoda heads, I still love him. He still might be my favorite director. I do legitimately have not just Belle, the Belle Steelbook back here. I am a real one. Even though I talked bad about this movie for like 5 days or 5 hours. Anyway, that's gonna fall in a second, so we're gonna end the episode. But Sawayama, Rina Sawayama by Rina Sawayama next week. Looking forward to it. Have a good evening, Mallory.
Have a great day, Sam.